last month we did about 47k in USD. I was about 60 grand sterling in the hole from like a situation I was in with business partner. Things weren't going well. We didn't have a consistent flow of leads. I was like basically so close to like insolvency. Once you have a profitable funnel, it's just if I spend £1, I get £3 back. Just spend more pounds, basically. In May, we had 12k new cash collected. Then in June, we had 40 calls. So that's a third less calls and over double the revenue in cash collected. Without you, might be bankrupt and back in a full-time job had we not done this. So yeah, unbelievable how things have turned around. So thank you so much.
All right, guys, we're here with Johnny. We're going to be going over his entire business and how he was able to hit back-to-back record months. It's been amazing to watch Johnny build his business. It's been amazing to work with him, and I'm excited to share his exact process. But if you want to introduce yourself first to let the people know who you are, a little bit about your background, and we'll go from there.
Sure. What's up? Look, great to be here. Thank you, Brett, for having me. So yeah, I'm Johnny, otherwise known as Marksman. I'm a producer in the dance music space, and my business is, well, coaching other artists how to make professional level music in dance music, and then do all of the things like, signing to labels, playing shows and stuff that I've already done as well. But yeah, that's kind of the goal, helping them get to where they want to be.
Cool, brother. Love it. Yeah, we're going to be diving in. So let me share my screen. We're going to be walking through Johnny's entire process. What was the turning point from him, and ultimately how you guys can take some things away and replicate it yourself within your business. But first, we're going to start off with the amount of money that you made last month, and then I guess this month, because you also had a record month. What was that, Johnny?
So last month we did, I believe it was about 35k pounds sterling. So in USD, that would be about 47k in USD. Now this month, it's looking like we're probably going to do more like 45, maybe even 50. Let's just say 40. Let's just say 50 for now, because we're very close, which would be 67k USD.
Damn, bro. So almost $70,000 in a single month. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, considering where we came from as well. So
yeah, tell me a little bit more about where you were kind of starting before you even came to me, and why you also chose to work with me.
Yeah, so to cut a long story short, I was in a pretty tough spot when we started this. I remember it distinctly, and considering where we are now, it's like unbelievable how things have changed so quickly. But I was about 60 grand sterling in the hole from like a situation I was in with a business partner. Now, when we met, I had just fired said partner because he was part of the reason why we were where we were. And things weren't going well. We didn't have a consistent flow of leads. I was like basically so close to like insolvency. And this was kind of like a little bit of like a Hail Mary, got to do something kind of thing.
I remember the call that we had. You're like, dude, you're kind of my last hope kind of type situation.
Yeah, so I went all, it was like back to the wall. I kind of went all in on this because like the thing is, I knew we had a amazing offer. We had amazing transformations. It's just the front end wasn't working well. And since refining that and having a system that does work, like we've just seen consistent growth. And we were hitting like, from about sort of like March onward. We started working together in February, so it's now almost August. February was like the start of things. We got some new clients come in, which was nice. And then from March onwards, we hit like consistent 10 to 15k cash collected months with new cash collected, not including payment plans. Now, to put this into perspective, with my old business partner, we were barely scraping like 5 to 6k months when we were lucky, and I was splitting it with this guy. I was absorbing all of the the risk. He had much less responsibilities. So just getting rid of him was the best thing ever anyway. But then actually solving the major issues on the front end just absolutely was game changer for us. So yeah, it was fantastic. And yeah, like the system was that you showed us with like, you know, creating a customer first is so much more value, because everything we were doing was just predicated on like getting someone on a call or getting some sort of strategy of getting leads and then pitching them a product at that, like on that call. There was nothing collected up front. We did also have like this sort of monthly subscription thing that we were running, which was so like undervalued, and also like just wasn't worth our time, but required so much like work from our end for very little gain that I ended up like getting rid of that as well.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. I think a lot of people do like the subscription stuff backwards. Like when you hit 100K a month or whatever your ceiling you believe is for your high ticket, then introducing a low ticket subscription is typically the best model. So people get that backwards. But yeah, man, it's been amazing to hear where you were before, and then where you're at now, and then where you're going to be in the future, as long as things keep on going right, which they will. But before we like dive into your funnel and everything, let's go over your main offer. So I know there's that other like customer offer we're going to be talking about, but let's go over the main one, the one that the high ticket one that you have currently. Who is the person that you're selling into this?
So there's a few like different archetypes, but I guess to summarize, it's like a house and techno producer who they usually have at least a few years of experience, but they've hit a plateau. Now we can have people that are like have 20 plus years of experience, but typically it's, you know, anywhere from 1 to 5 years of experience. They just feel like their music's not at the professional level or where they want it to be, and they can't be consistent with it. The main problem they face is, well, they can't finish tracks that they're happy with in a consistent or quick manner, or full stop. So there's varying degrees of severity. So there might be someone that literally has never finished a track, which is a major issue. And there might be some people that can finish music relatively quickly, but it just sucks and just they don't like it, or it's not, maybe they do like it, but nobody else does, and it's not breaking through to that next level of which will then unlock, you know, gigs, label signings, and, you know, doing music as a career.
Yeah. No breakthrough to like launch their career.
No, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of kind of average music out there, but you know, if you wanted to break through, you need to really stand out.
Yep. And then, so what's the promise that you make them?
We will get you consistently finishing music that, number one, you're happy with, and number two, that other people will be happy with eventually, in a quick manner. So we have a mechanism called the MPA 6-hour workflow, and the goal is to be able to have you sit down and finish a track within 6 hours or less consistently on average. And that typically means that most people that we work with who are in, like, yeah, the average person will have like a full-time job, usually some sort of partner, maybe kids, and do sport or whatever. But that means that most people will be able to finish at least a track a week with all of those responsibilities.
Cool. So you're really like just saving them so much time, getting them to a spot where the likelihood of them launching a music that they're happy with, but B, getting potentially to launch their career quicker in a way, or like at least be like recognized in the scene, right?
Yeah, because not everybody necessarily wants to be like a touring artist there, or like, you know, headlining festivals. Some people just want to actually make music they're proud of. But yeah, it's time saving, but also quality improving as well. Because I mean, that's the main thing. Our ethos really is, the more music you make, the better you're going to get, the quicker you're going to get better, and the more opportunities you have to break through. Whereas if you're just spending like, months on one track that's kind of shit, then that's months wasted, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, dude. And then as far as your team here, who is currently on your team?
There's me. I'm the brains and brawn of the operation, I would say. But since, where it started off with just me, and then we had the Andre, who's my appointment setter and like kind of in the sales team side of things. So he was doing like social scheduling as well, but now he's just doing setting. Since I started working with you, I hired 2 new coaches. So there's Max and Tom, who are professional producers and artists as well. They help with a lot of the like feedback and delivery stuff, which I've removed myself from our program a little bit, but I still run the trainings. Recently just hired a closer within the last couple of weeks. He's just done his he started 2 weeks ago. He just today got his first paid in full close. So that's exciting. And he's got, I think, a couple more lined up for next week with follow-ups. I've got technically these are more like, what's the word? Associates, I would say, but I also have like now a graphic designer that's going to be making like static images and shit for ads and things like that. But that's basically it.
Nice. Talk to me a little bit about the appointment setter and exactly how you manage him.
Yeah, so Andre, he came through our like subscription program thing, and he was one of our clients, and he was saying just like basically he came about because he said, oh, I really love this program, but like, can I pay you for the next month, like the month after, just because like he was logistically having some issues. And I was like, I could maybe do you one better. You could work for us. And because he's a producer, he speaks the language of producers, which is great. So he's like, now he's pretty autonomous in the sense that he can just do the conversations and knows what he's doing. But like, he will come to me every now and then if there's like a weird situation. But yeah, he's pretty much autonomous, which is nice.
Yeah, I think that's massively underrated, is getting a setter or sometimes even a closer that really understands your industry, understands your person, and probably has already like went through some material of yours because they actually just like doing what you're teaching. That can make a world of difference for a lot of coaches. And not many coaches like hire a closer that's like, if I was a fitness coach, I would hire a closer that could also be a fitness coach within the community as well. They're going to know, they're going to know exactly how to talk to people, like you just said, like your guy. And they just have the passion and conviction to sell, which is like, in my opinion, 90% of selling.
Well, something that we actually did to incentivize him was he was in the like monthly subscription thing, which, by the way, I totally forgot to mention. We won the school games because of this. He joined just before the school games. Then everything went to shit. But we then moved back to high ticket. So we said to him, it's like, hey, dude, if you can set us, I think it was 10 closes? Because that would make up the amount that he would have paid for the program. It's like, we'll just give you free access to our main program. And he was so hyped about that. So like, that was like, I guess, a way that we could have someone that actually truly believed in the cause, because I guess, he was like, I want to do this main program. I've heard so much about it. But yeah, it's important to have them speak the language for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So good little team that you got going on. I honestly think you can scale to 100K, 150K, 200, depending on like what other offers we implement, and we can talk about that. But yeah, dude, it's feeling solid. Yeah, let's go over to your top 3 wins. So not just the money, but what were like the top 3 wins within the business that happened when you hit your record months here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I was telling you before we started recording, like just being completely out of the hole now. I paid off everything, and now it's a case of like scaling. So I was like 60 grand in the hole. Now I have no outstanding debt to my person, and also I've got like 3 months living expenses and 1 month's just worth of ad spend that I have just ready. So if a whole month goes to shit, like I've got a safety buffer, which is nice.
Beautiful.
The second thing as well is like buying my time back, which was huge because before I started working, I think I told you this, I was doing like 12 to 14 hour days consistently, which my business partner wasn't. He was doing like 1 hour days, so very disproportionate, hence why he got fired. But now, like, I'm still working hard, I'm still doing a lot of stuff, but like I actually can take my foot off the gas sometimes and just enjoy life again rather than just burning out like crazy all the time. So that was really big for me. Also, I'm traveling a lot as well, which is great. And now that I have the coaches as well, they can do stuff. We can deliver better results to our clients because they're also involved as well, but I don't have to just do everything. Trying to think as well. What's another big win?
Well, I think like the cool thing about it is you're put in a position where you can now make strategic decisions for your business and act upon those rather than being in the weeds the whole entire time. Like we were talking about another funnel, and you have the capacity if you wanted to make that funnel and not be so, your hands are tied between a bunch of different things.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's like you can't see the forest for the trees, so to speak. Because at that time I was just like focusing on delivery, feedback delivery, and like, oh shit, I need to be on sales calls all the time. But now it's like, okay, now I can actually see what's happening and have people handling stuff, which is nice. And very soon as well, I should say, I guess this is another win. I would say this is for me. This is for like my team. So Andre Lasetta, he is this close to just quitting he currently works in a day job. He's very close to quitting his day job. I think he'll be doing that this month. The two coaches as well, we're working on getting them to go full-time in music because they're still in day jobs as well, and they're pretty close. So that would be awesome, just knowing that, hey, I actually have like full-time employees now, and giving them, basically allowing them to do what they love.
Yeah, like that's the dream of a coach, like where everybody who is, has hands on in your business is actually just working towards one goal. Like it is annoying when people have part-time jobs and you're like they're half in, half out. But now you're in a situation where there could potentially be everybody is like, how do we make this thing work and make it 10 times better?
Yeah, because the thing, especially with Andre, I just want to like commend him for this as well, because like he's like an absolute grinder. He's been with us since about April of last year, and he's been through the thick and thin. He's seen all of the shit that's happened, and he's been really putting in those hours. And he's just like, bro, I can't even produce anymore because of like all this work I'm doing. But I know we're this close. I'm like, I know, bro. So also he's seen what it was like before working with you and like what it's like now, and he's just like, I can't believe how much this has changed, and like what we used to do with won't name him, but with business partner, like how shit that was and how everything that we should have done is now being done, and night and day difference.
So beautiful, bro. So cool, like having great team members like that.
Of course, man.
All right, let's get into some of the juicy stuff here, which is the conversion system. So what I mean by that is really fancy word for what funnel are we running for you? We're doing something that I honestly think it's one of the most underrated funnels in online info. I know people talk about it, but I swear people aren't doing it enough. But if you could go ahead and share with me the funnel that you're running to acquire clients.
Yeah, so we have two independent, well, they're not independent, they're like things going on. So I would say before we were relying just basically on organic content, right? And for obvious reasons, that's kind of shit because you have nothing stable. Also, you have no targeting controls in terms of demographics. So now we have an ads-based system. And yeah, some people still do come organically through like YouTube and stuff, but we have a front-end follower ad, which basically wants to get a follow and start a conversation. That's where Andre will come in and start talking to every new follower. But that specific ad then goes to a YouTube video as well, which deals with one of their biggest pain points. So for us, producers think that they struggle with mixing. That's like the most important thing. So we just like, hey, I can solve all of your problems right now with this video. And they're like, oh shit, okay, cool. And then they realize that actually it's not mixed. Well, it is mixing, but they still suck at everything else. And they're like, oh, I actually suck at composition. So anyway, Andre takes over. Then we also have a low ticket ad funnel thing. So weirdly, these two are very related for some reason. As soon as we turned off the follower ad, like low ticket tanked and vice versa. So they kind of both somehow connecting. I don't really know how, but anyway, this then goes to a £27 offer, which is a slice of what we do in our program. We basically do one thing, like I said, we help people finish tracks consistently that they're happy with. So this just basically tells them the high level overview system that they should do. And in theory, it can be enough for someone to finish their first track, but there's no guarantee of quality. It's a short training. There's multiple upsells. You can then buy a mixing course. You can buy a one-on-one session with me where we'll open up a project. And then there's like a few like racks you can buy for Ableton, which just help like you basically be a bit quicker and more efficient. We're all about efficiency, but quality as well. Yeah. Then from that, they can automatically book an onboarding session to help them implement it, because the way we position it is like, hey, if you know what to do, that's one thing, but actually being able to do it is a different thing. So that's how we position it. And then that's just basically like a sales call, or we qualify them. And then they could be pitched our mid-ticket product or our high-ticket products. During this process, Andre also will then warm them up from the, sorry, brain's going to shit. Been on training calls all day. I will then warm them up, like qualify them via the call. And we give people every excuse to cancel this call so we don't waste our time, because I think when we went through this, the thick of it, like in like April, where we had like, I think like 70 sales calls, and they were all just like not the right kind of people. Now we're doing fewer calls, but they're closing way more often and we're making more money. So after they book, they get sent to like this video, which basically just runs them through exactly how it's going to work, what to expect on the call. We're also transparent with our prices, or rough prices, so they have an idea. So if people are broke, they'll cancel the call, and we're like, good, we just saved ourselves an hour. But generally speaking, people that show up to those calls, they're like, you know, they're basically ready to rock, which is nice. On top of that, Andre is like sending them resources, like talking to them, giving me context for the call, so I know what to say to these people when we do speak to them. Now, Andre can also book people from just the follower ad, and these people as well are doing pretty well as well. Yeah. So there's two avenues, like organic low ticket, not organic, like just semi-automated low ticket. Yeah. Then the follower ad, but then also like we have their numbers from the low ticket sale. So Andre will just reach out to every single person and like message them directly. And then like, that's just a set conversation, but with the lens that they're already a customer, so they've already purchased something from us. So they're basically a much better lead, you could think of them as, if they hadn't booked.
Cool. When it comes to, just to take a little bit of a step back, the order bumps, what were they?
There's like these like Ableton racks, which is like our music production software. It's just these things that I've created, which you can like drag onto a track or like an instrument, and it just makes it sound better quickly.
kind of like plugins or something.
Kind of, yeah, but it's like it's stock to Ableton, so it's like people would just have it immediately, which is nice. It's like a little instant win. That's one. Then there's like a full-on mixing course, which again, like that's their main pain point, at least that they're aware of. And then you can also buy a one-on-one project deep dive analysis thing with me, where they can bring a project, they share their screen and sound, and like I just basically show them like how it works, how to make it better. And that's something we do every week in the program anyway. So we're like, hey, it's like a really good way of upselling them, because you're like, hey, did you like this? And they're like, yes, this was amazing. You're like, we do this multiple times a week if you want to join the program, and it's easy for them to join that way. So
yeah, and I want to explain this for the viewers, like why this funnel I believe is so underrated and works so well. There's a couple different reasons, but the first one is just the liquidation of ad spend. There's some days you are profitable. In general, are you profitable with this?
There was some months where we were like, I wouldn't say a full month we were, but there's periods within the month where like we're absolutely fucking crushing it and making sometimes 2 to 3x our ad spend. But I would say it averages out about you recoup about 85 to 90% of ad spend from the bumps just on the front end. So you're basically like almost close to getting free leads, which is nice.
Yeah, like you could, if you're running like a regular VSL, you're spending like $200 for a book call. But if you're running this, even though you might not be fully profiting on the front end, your book call, if you do the math, could end up like being $10 to $50, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about this.
Yes, it's game changer, because but before we were just doing like ads to ad setter VSL call. But now you're collecting cash on the front end, and they're a higher intent because they're a customer, they're not a lead, which is better.
I don't know if you experienced it with this funnel, but every time I run a low ticket, at least for myself, it also turns into the best follower ad for me. Does that happen to you? Like, do more followers come off the low ticket? It might be different for you.
I think so. Yeah. We get a decent number of followers as well. So, but they're also like high quality followers. And I guess to this point as well, it's worth noting we're now using lookalike audiences for like initially it was just broad, then it was lookalikes based on our low ticket purchases, and then now it's lookalikes based on our high ticket purchases. So in theory, it's just going to get even better as time goes on. So yeah,
absolutely cool, man. Anything else when it comes to this funnel?
Yes. So on the sales call, we have both a mid and high ticket. So high ticket is obviously where we want people to go. That's where you like, but you could see this considering that it's a like a self-liquidating funnel. Mid and high ticket are just basically pure profit, which is nice. Then mid ticket is a self-guided version of our high ticket. So there's just no feedback and no support. And you could kind of see that as a deposit because you frame it as, hey, you can just do the self-guided version for now. And then when you're ready, you can do high ticket and we'll credit what you paid towards that. So you still actually end up getting the high ticket close in full. But like someone might never come back. And that's fine. Or someone might never have the money to do high ticket, but you can still get like something from them, which makes every call worthwhile. To that point, we're making like on average just per booked call. So someone that shows up, we're making around like £700, so sterling, for every person that shows up because of the high ticket and low ticket and mid ticket option. That's been real game changer for us, having mid ticket.
Yeah, I think that's also another very underrated thing that a lot of coaches don't do is just put in, like, just sell their high ticket program without the sport. And that can end up being profitable or like collecting some money back on your ads. So implementing that's pretty smart.
With the mid ticket sales, also worth noting, through the low ticket, you then like the last video is then pitching mid ticket. So we've had a few people just buy it organically, which has been like no contact. They've just gone and bought this, and then that just, if you take into account mid-ticket sales, our front end is profitable, which is great. So then high ticket sales are just purely profit.
Yeah.
But also, like, sometimes as well, like, you know, the objections you get, it's either money or like fear. And when they say it's money, it could just be like, I don't trust this guy to give him however much your program is. But then when you have the mid-ticket thing, like, I've had multiple people do this where they just start off with mid-ticket and they're like, holy shit, this is awesome. I need the full version. And they just upsell themselves anyway. And they had the money all along. It was just they didn't quite trust you or whatever, or wanted an easy way in. So it's a way that you can like lower the barrier to entry and still get the high ticket close anyway, just a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that also makes this really good, better than a subscription community, is the fact that there's a chance for them to ascend. Because if you sell a subscription community, kind of like you were selling before, the expectation is like, give me more every month, give me more, give me more, give me more. Whereas the expectation is set pretty hard with a low ticket, even the mid ticket. It's like, hey, this is it. There's an end to this program. If you want more help, you got to ascend. And that's where a lot of people go wrong when they do a low ticket subscription. They think that people are just going to want to ascend. Sure, you're building trust, but the expectation isn't there.
To that point, when we did shut down our like lowish ticket, like monthly subscription, the reason why I did it was because like it was so draining to have to just come up with new shit every single week. We had multiple calls a week, but also like people weren't really progressing because they didn't have skin in the game. So when we were just said to them, it was like, I'm ending this. Now is your chance to join. Everything that you paid up to this date will credit towards the main program. So many people took it because they were like, well, I like what you're doing. And now they're doing way better because our high ticket is just better anyway. So it was an easy win, and you know, bought many hours of my time back a week.
Yeah. Amazing, bro. Amazing. Okay, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but do I actually want to touch on this? I don't know. Let's touch on it. Okay. I don't know what I meant by platforms. I guess like, are you on? So what platforms are you on? I guess Instagram, YouTube, right?
Yeah, well, front end is Instagram and YouTube for long form stuff. I'm not really like, I haven't posted any like content really for a very long time.
On Instagram or on YouTube, or both?
A little bit of both. So on YouTube, I've been doing like live production streams, but I haven't really other than to promote my own music, where like I'll do like a track breakdown or something just to promote my own music. I haven't posted any new content on YouTube for some time. Same with Instagram. It's just literally been ads. I think the last time I posted something was like a random, it would be many months ago, but it kind of just shows that it doesn't really matter when you have ads.
Yeah, really. Wow, that's actually crazy. I did not know that you weren't like posting on Instagram.
No, not at all. I want to start posting more organic stuff, but I just honestly haven't had time, and I've been like, if I'm making all this content, is it going to move the needle? No. So fuck it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, and put your content energy into making new ads that are the thing that's already working.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
So yeah, we can kind of cross out content formats because you're not really posting, and posting cadence is like what, two, 3 times a month.
Yeah, and also as well, like it's worth noting that I do have like email and WhatsApp and stuff that I send out, but like honestly, like it's not really that. I mean, I might just be shit at it. I don't know, but the like email broadcasts that we used to rely on, like they didn't really get. I've got like 7,000 people on my email list, and like hardly any people respond. So it basically does all ads.
Yeah, I feel like email's kind of dead. I'm not gonna lie. Like people just get so many emails today that it's like, as soon as they hop on a subscription and then they get blasted, they're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd keep on doubling down on what's working, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the play, really.
Awesome.
Okay, so here's the juicy stuff that I want to talk about. It's really the turning point for you. I know we've kind of touched on that a little bit, but I want to get it in writing. the things that changed, the things that made you hit the record month. So I guess the first question I have is like, what is different from before?
As in from before we started working together, or is that what you mean?
Yeah, or like even when we were working with each other, there was a period where you were still kind of like stuck at this 10, 15K a month mark.
Yeah.
Within your business, I'm not talking like lifestyle, but within your business, what was different? Like what were you doing differently back then from what you're doing right now?
Right. There's two things. Firstly, just spending more on ads, because there was a point where, we were, I think to start with, I mean, I have the numbers to back it up here if I pull them up, but we were being quite conservative with how much like ad spend we were doing. And of course, like once you have a profitable funnel, it's just if I spend £1, I get £3 back. Just spend more pounds, basically. Because just taking a look, like for example, in February, we only really started this halfway through February, but we like £900 in ad spend in February, then like 4.4K in March, 4K in April, and then in May we started cranking it up. But in June, where's all the June data gone? In June we started cranking it up. Now we did like 8K. This month it's probably going to be more like like 9-ish K, I would say. But like the thing is, like, you got to spend money to make money. But like I was always cautious of being like, oh, what if I just blast a load of money and whatever? But you have to take that risk eventually. But obviously, don't just on day one fucking put like 100K a day on ads. Like that's dumb. But
I think the key there is like make sure the funnel makes sense before you start blasting it with ads.
yeah,
Like I felt like we spent a lot of time talking about how do we make this low ticket funnel profitable.
yeah. So there was a lot of refining things, and like when we started seeing like good like stats, and then it was like, okay, let's spend more. And the good thing about this whole thing is like because you're recouping money as well, like it's kind of fine to spend more because you're just like, oh well, I'm getting the money back, so it doesn't really matter. So there was that. Then another key turning point was being very aggressive with disqualifying people or letting them self-disqualify. Be like, this is who it's for. And I can remember there was something you said, I can't remember, but it was about like a fitness coach that you mentioned where he goes, this is for people that make 150K a year. So like I always just thought like surely that's not going to work, but then like it does. Like if you just say like this is for this exact kind of person, if this isn't you, cancel the call. Don't waste your fucking time. Don't waste our time. Because in what was it, May, we did I had like 62 calls booked. That doesn't include cancellations. Then in June I did, so in May we had 12K new cash collected. Then in June we had 40 calls, so that's a third less calls and over double the revenue in cash collected. And this month we've done actually about the same, but we've made more cash collected. So just telling people that this isn't right and not wasting our time. And I think I remember there were days where I had like 7 or 8 hours of back-to-back sales calls just with people that were never going to close. And so there was that. Also, like the system in between when they book, we refined that, like warming them up, providing value, the video that you send them beforehand, making sure they watch it. And in that video, again, giving them every reason to basically cancel or say that this isn't for them. And then it's like, cool, great. So there was that. And then another thing as well, I guess one final thing was because everything was recorded and like I have so much content that has been recorded and also like sales calls using Fathoms recorded and whatnot. I fed all of this information into Claude and I hate fucking saying that AI made a massive difference, but it kind of did. I don't want to be that guy, but it led us to actually make more data-driven decisions because it can integrate with Fathom, so you can be like, is this asking for help on like the sales system, like where did I go wrong? But then also like over the course of a month, be like, hey, was the quality of our leads better? Are we noticing differences? And rather than thinking about like the random standout calls that went well or like one that didn't go well and thinking like, oh, every lead is shit. It's like actually it's taking an objective approach to it. And that helps. And it also helps then to be able to create messaging that would appeal to the people that closed. So you could say like, out of every single person that closed and pay in full, what were the things that they said that they were struggling with? What was their situation? What was their goals? And then you can use that to create like messaging, hooks, content, and stuff that's going to appeal to those types of people.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Like it's almost like I was explaining this to somebody the other day. I think a lot of people in this space spend so much of their time trying to convince people who were never interested in the first place. And it sounds like with this, the data, the way things are set up is most of your time is now convinced on people who already have the intent.
Exactly. Yeah. Because when I started out, I started this about, it would have been 4 years ago coming up to that. That was the day I first quit my job and went full time with music. That first few years, I felt a lot like I was always trying to convince people. And there were so many people that clearly just didn't want help. They might have needed help, but they didn't want it. Now it feels like everybody I talk, especially after doing this, like Andre is saying, all of the conversations are so much better that like they're all the right people and they all seem nice. Like I remember speaking to major dickheads or like completely psychotic people and loads of people asking for refunds and stuff because they were like, for whatever reason. But now it's just like everybody wants to work with us. They love us. They like your message, your content resonates with us, the way you approach and stuff. So yeah, it's absolutely game changing.
I'm curious, like what were those actual, I don't know if you can come up with it on the top of your head, but what were those like actual changes in the messaging that got somebody that's more resonated with you?
I think well, a lot of people on calls, they say, I like the way that you talk about things or just your approach because like you're just honest and tell it how it actually really is. Whereas like so many people in the game are like, it's like, oh, if you just do this one thing, then you're going to you can make millions of dollars after clicking your thing. It's like, no, just you have to be like honest about the process that, yes, this is going to require work. This is going to take time. And to that point, business partner, our whole thing was the 6-hour workflow, right? His thing, then he copied everything that I did. And then it goes, how about if you finish a track in 2 hours? And it's like, nobody is going to be able to do that because it's just not physically possible. And, you know, he's not going to get anywhere with that because it's just built on bullshit that no one's going to be able to do. Whereas when you're actually like honest about expectations and stuff, like, this is going to be what happens and how it's going to work, then it becomes a lot easier to actually sell people because they can see that, hey, this guy's actually speaking stuff that makes sense and is achievable and whatnot. Like, God, I just walked in. It is achievable, and I feel like I can do this, especially with this system, with a guy that's not going to like, you know, basically, you know, be a snake oil salesman, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Being upfront about like, hey, this is for a person that, you know, has been doing this for a little bit, was super serious, and then you just setting expectations in that messaging. Yeah, are there like different like keywords or anything that you said, or?
I don't know off the top of it. It'd be very specific to our niche, so like I don't know if it's like helpful for other people. But
yeah, I was just curious. Now I was just like, what it specifically? But this all makes a lot of sense. This is a really good sauce. Yeah, dude, let's move on to, I mean, we've kind of been touching on this a little bit, but we'll go quick here because I don't want to take up too much time, but what were like things that you were doing before that did we already ask that? What's different from before? It's kind of the same question. We'll go on to like, what's working well now?
Yeah, just, I guess the process of getting people in the calendar is good. Like actually getting people results. It seems a lot easier now with the whole system, which is the whole important part because like in our community, you have people being like, oh, I just signed to a label, or I just got my first release out, and then you like just share that with publicly, and like, who else wants to do this? And it becomes very easy. Yeah, it just feels like the whole system is finally coming together. So yeah, like,
Awesome, dude.
kind of everything's working well. I mean, there's always stuff that could be working better, sure, but so far it seems status quo is pretty nice.
Yeah. And then in terms of Johnny, just for like the viewers, we were kind of talking about like how can we bring this to another level. He does have his mid-ticket thing, which we believe a webinar would absolutely crush for that. Takes a little bit of time to set up, but it's almost like a low ticket. But if you run to the webinar and then people buy that and then they want more like one-on-one help or more help with coaches, it's like almost the same ascension process. So that to me is like, right now I think with this funnel you can get to 100K a month. But if you wanted to get it like to 200K, that to me would bring you there.
I think that's great because I used to run a webinar to the way that our program used to be, where God, we've increased the prices a lot. Snooze you lose, guys. Look, if you're watching this and you want to join the program, fucking do it now. It's going to be more expensive. But anyway, we used to have like 2 phases. The first phase was like $997. So I just did that as like a webinar because a guy was working before said anything under £1,000 you can probably do through a webinar quite easily. And I had, I think, 2 people just sign up to that out of nowhere. I never spoke to them, and they just signed up and joined, which was great. But the problem was then volume, and I didn't have that all dialed in. So I think now that we have all of this stuff set up and a more sophisticated approach, I think that would absolutely crush.
Yeah, and you got the coaches behind you, so you can focus on building the webinar and all that stuff. Yeah, you're just in a good position to make very strategic decisions that will gain you more leverage, and that's the ultimate place you want to be in your business.
Yeah, exactly. Because now we can actually focus on like, bigger picture stuff that matters rather than like being in the weeds. So that's good. So yeah, I'm excited to. I mean, look, even if like we don't get to like 200K months or whatever, and we stay at current status quo, I mean, like I'd be happy with that. But obviously, if we get to that level, then that would be unbelievable.
Yep, I definitely see you going that way. But yeah, man, dude, really awesome for you to do this and show everybody everything that you've went through and breaking it down. So I really appreciate that. It's been a pleasure working with you, and can't wait to see where we go next with this. I mean, obviously, if you want to keep it where it's at, it's a great fucking business. But if we want to scale more, we can do that, and hopefully, we'll have another breakdown when you hit that next milestone.
Sure. Well, I don't think it'll be too far away by the looks of things. But yeah, I just want to say, like, appreciate everything you've shown me and helped me with. Wouldn't be here without you. Might be bankrupt and back in a full-time job had we not done this. So yeah, unbelievable how things have turned around. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, brother. All right, man. Appreciate it.